And I just wanted to come on live today, you guys, and talk about chapter 7. We've been going through my book one chapter at a time and just talking about the different things that come out of it. Talking about all the wisdom and the knowledge and the things that I learned from going through it. And, the things that I talk to my clients about on the day in and day out when it comes down to making healthy choices in relationships and marriages, and, making sure that you're healed so that you can date from a place of being healed and all the above. Hey, Jazz, listen. So we're going to go ahead and jump into chapter 7. I got my glasses on already, y'all. Listen. Oh, thank you, cousin. I'm so proud of you. Thank you, cousin. And I just want to read one little excerpt from my book, just the beginning of it. This is chapter 7. I know a lot of you guys who are on have purchased it. I appreciate the love. I appreciate it. Just keep it going. Hey, boo. And, share it with a friend. This information is the stuff that we could help save somebody's relationship. We can help save them from making a mistake, if we share this type of information that we're learning from this book, you guys. For real. Hey, V. Okay, chapter 7. I can see the moments where I force things to happen. As I look back over the many failed relationships and now a failed marriage, I can see the moments where I forced things to happen, or how I never got true confirmation from God. I would force myself into relationships with men who I knew weren't for me. God has been there amid my decisions and has tried and shown me. Here's what I did every time. I disregarded the red flags and warnings God gave. I had an issue with being alone and single. I know that these issues come directly from feeling abandoned from my birth father and even my father who was around. Abandonment can cause you to hold on to who and what is there, even when you know who and what is there is not good for you in the long run. It's almost like you would rather accept having someone or something instead of having nothing at all. If you've ever felt this way, this is your sign to heal the abandonment. But first you have to find the root of your abandonment. And I've done this with several different ways, you guys. So I had abandonment issues. And it's very interesting because I've come across other people who have had abandonment issues, like clients and friends and family that I've talked to about their issues. And the way that my trauma came out was vastly different from a lot of other people. Like a lot of other people, when they have abandonment issues, it's like they're like, no, I don't want to get close to you because you're going to leave me and I can't deal with that. So no, I'll put up a fence and I'll keep you out and I'll shut you out, right? Mine was the total opposite. I was like, no, I need you. I don't know if I need you. You're not good for me, but I need you here, close, right? And I really just think that it has a lot to do with like my personality and my attachment style when it comes down to relationships, and all of that plays a toll into why I reacted the way that I did when I had trauma. And when it was, yep, that's me too, right? That's you, V, yep. That anxious attachment style. You might have an anxious attachment style when it comes down to your relationship attachment style. Yep. So I hold on to people, even friends. Like if I call you my friend, you are my fucking friend. Like that is who you are to me. I hold you high in regard. I love you. You are my family. You know what I mean? So it's like I have that type of personality and that type of heart. So when it came down to being in relationships, I was the same way. But it was my abandonment that caused me to hold on to things that weren't worth holding on to. Y'all, I'm gonna be real honest. It wasn't worth holding on to it, but I was just like, I need something there because I was too afraid to be single and too afraid to be alone. We are the same. They not like us. Hey, they not like us. Look. Girl, yes. Okay. So I love this chapter, you guys, because it's like the beginning of the healing process for me. And this was the healing process after my divorce and what that looked like. And so I really went in. I've done all kinds of different things, all types of different therapies. I've done my work. I've done the journaling. I've done the shadow work. I've done, hey, E, I've done all the different things. And so what happened with me in this chapter is that I really broke it down into 4 different steps, you guys. 4 simple steps. Simple to say, but not so simple to do, right? Because we all know healing is work. And so one of the first things is that you have to do when you're in this situation, when you're dealing with abandonment issues, is you got to get real, raw, and honest with yourself. Real, raw, and honest. What does that mean? Well, I just got done saying, right, I had an anxious attachment that was my way of how I attached to people when it came down to relationships. I was the anxious attachment style. That was my style. I didn't know that, but I had to dig deep. I had to recognize what was going on. I did some research. I looked up some things. It's being real and raw with God. And it's really talking about these moments where I had to take the L because I was obsessive with this person or that person. I was accepting less than what I deserved. You know what I mean? So it's really getting real, raw with yourself, and it's really checking in on your emotions, checking in on how you feel, checking in on your part in the situation. Let me say that again, because we love to point that finger. We love to point that finger. Oh, they hurt me. They did this. They did that. Da, 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 da. But what's the part that you had in it? And I speak about this often. I'm so big on ownership. I am, because there was a lot of things that I learned from my mom that she didn't really take ownership with. And so when I became an adult, I was like, oh no, if I'm in the wrong, I'm in the wrong. Right? Like that's how I operated. So with me, it getting real, getting raw, and really just zoning in on myself was very important, right? That was the first thing that I did. I got real, I got raw. I started talking about the things that I accepted in my relationship, that I accepted in my marriage, the things that I allowed to slide by because I just wanted to keep my marriage together. And if I could just deal with this on the inside, but on the outside, it looks like it's all good. But on the inside, I was miserable. I was going through it. I was unfulfilled. I was struggling. I was depressed. You name it, I was it in this marriage, towards the end. And so getting real and raw that's step one. That's what you're going to have to do with yourself, okay? Only you can do that work. Only you know what the realness is. Only you know the real parts that you had in your relationship, your breakup, your career switch, your whatever you want to call it, okay? The second thing is being in a solitude era, and they kind of go together, right? Being real and raw with yourself. The only way that you can do that is by going within. Solitude era, that's you by yourself. Okay, thumbs up. Here we go. Come on, universe. We love it. We love the confirmation. Getting into your solitude era. What does that look like? What did that look like for me? Y'all, I stayed to myself. I was in that little room upstairs, stayed to myself. I, was journaling. I did a lot of listening to music because music is life for me. And it helps me to think, and it helps me to really go deeper when it comes down to meditation. I was talking to God often, still do. But when you're going through it, it's like, God, I don't know. God, it's like every 2 seconds. It's like, God, ugly cry, right? So it's really that solitude era. And you got to recognize that when you are healing, when you are going through any type of hurt, pain, trauma, PTSD, whatever have you, you are very impressionable. Let me say that again because somebody didn't hear me. When you are healing, when you are working through a process, when you are going through your trauma, when you are addressing childhood issues, when you are being bold enough and courageous enough to deal with your shit, you are very impressionable. So what does that mean? You have to be by yourself. Because here's the thing, and I'm gonna tell you guys a story about my solitude era. You're really impressionable. So you're taking things in. It's easy to take things in and to feel some type of way, especially if you're an empath. You take other people's emotions on. You're feeling all these different things. You may be reacting in a way that you normally wouldn't react because you're feeling all those impressions from your family, your friends, especially if you're going through a breakup. This is hard. This is the part where you start to recognize like, oh, those really weren't my friends. They're really his friends. Or, oh, that's really not my family like that. Like you start to realize that because people have their opinions, they have their emotions, they feel some type of way about you and about your situation with whoever you're with, and it gets real sticky, which is why the solitude era is so important. That's number 2, you guys. Solitude era. I want to tell you about my solitude era real quick. When I was going through my divorce, first off, when I was separating from my ex-husband, we had to, if you got my book, you know this story, but I'm going to share it for those who didn't get the book and those who may want to read the book. And after I tell you this story, I got bit by a mosquito. I got a mosquito up in here. They know what brown sugar is. I'm sorry, y'all. I had to, pack up our house, and I ended up doing that basically by myself. Just me. My sister came and stayed with me, you guys, in the process. Unfortunately, my ex-husband was not in the mindset. He wasn't in the state of mind to help me pack up this house. And brown sugar, babe. Come on, B. They know brown sugar when they see it. Hey. But I am getting bit, though, wherever that Skeeto is. So I ended up packing up my house basically by myself. Me and my sister, we tag teamed, packed me and my daughter up and moved everything into a storage unit until we got everything together. We ended up moving in with my sister in her 1-bedroom apartment. Shout out to my sister, Shar's the GOAT. Listen, helped me out in a time of need. That's what family does. And in that process, I was still living with my ex. He was, staying in one room. I was staying in another, and we weren't really talking. We weren't saying anything to each other. We were just kind of coexisting. I was packing things up. He was just kicking it, trying to figure out life. And so in that process, I packed all this stuff up by myself, me and my sister. And the moment that it was time for us to be out of the house, he turns around and asks me, hey, can you drop me off at my mom's? Can you help me move all my stuff over to my mom's? Like, can I put all my stuff in your car? Because his cars weren't working at this time. He had sold his cars. They had broken down. And so he said, could you, basically move me to my mom's house? And I'm not going to lie to you guys. That broke me, right? I broke all the way down because first off, I had been traumatized for 30 days. My ex-husband traumatized me in a bunch of different ways. He was very bitter. He was very petty, and he was not a mature gentleman at all. He was very immature. And when people are hurting and people are in pain, their true colors really come out. The trueness, the realness, how petty you are, how immature you are, it overflows and it comes out. And that's exactly what I got to experience 30 days up until the time where it was time for us to give the keys back. And now I'm going my separate way. He's going his separate way, but he asked me to help him in his process of going his separate way. Forget the fact that all these 30 days that we had to pack up our house, I packed it up by myself. Let's forget I'm picking up big ass boxes by myself. One of my closest sisters was on the phone with me, and she's like crying, right? She's like, because I'm like, oh, I got one more box. I'm like hyping myself up, you guys. Listen, in my masculine energy, full on, picking up big ass boxes, moving it back and forth to my little Honda, back and forth, huffing and puffing, like, oh, all right, we got it. One more box, 2 more boxes. I'm counting it down. I'm hyping myself up because I just couldn't believe that I was packing this house up by myself. This house that we had lived in and we had, gotten married in, and we had collected all these different things in our life, and I was packing it up by myself. God, this isn't right. What? Right? So instead of boohoo crying, I'm like, but I still got to do things for my daughter. I still got to be a mom. I still got to make this thing happen. I still got 30 days to turn things around. I got to shut this house down. I got to put things in motion. I can't just sit down and just be sad and depressed and hope that somebody just picks it up and figures it out for me. No, I got to fucking figure it out. I got to figure out my life. Right? So that's what I was doing. And so one of my closest coaching sisters was boohoo crying. She was just like, this is just messed up. I can't believe. And I'm like, I know. And I'm crying with her, but I'm like, but this is my life right now. And I gotta do what I gotta do. I gotta do what I gotta do. Right? Ooh, I almost started crying right there, you guys. Listen, y'all know I'm good for a boohoo crying. I don't care what anybody got to say about it. But in that process, you guys, the solitude era is so important, because if you tell your friends what you're going through with this man, or you tell your friends how this person is traumatizing you, 30 days of traumatizing me in a house that we own together, traumatizing me. And I mean being petty, messy, leaving rings everywhere and leaving stuff everywhere to make a point. And I'm talking about the messiest of the messiest, the pettiest of the pettiest, the most immature of the most immature is what I dealt with. And in that process, I couldn't let everybody know what was going on, because my family's like, fuck that, fuck him, I'm coming out there, right? Like, those are my friends, those are my family. Your friends, your family, they love you, love you, love you, right? So of course they're going to hold it down for you. Of course they're going to be like, nah, not my Brit, not my sister, not my cousin, not my best friend, right? Of course, right? And so that's why it's so important to be in solitude mode, because you guys know what happened? God told me to go pick up that man, help him get his stuff to his mama house. even though he traumatized me for 30 days straight. God said, but I need you to show him who I am. And I'm within you. And if I'm within you, then you have to treat my child just like I would treat him. And that's all I heard. I didn't call a friend. I didn't call a cousin. I didn't call a sister. I talked to God. I got in my solitude era and I talked to God and I said, God, it just isn't fair. Why do I gotta do it? Only God. That's right. Why do I gotta do it, God? You seen this man traumatize me for 30 days, but I gotta move him to his mama house. This isn't fair. I'm talking about I boo-hoo cried, y'all, all of 30 minutes. And guess what I did? Put my big girl panties on, wiped my tears. And I went out there and I picked him up. He packed his stuff in the car, dropped him off at his mama house. And I went around the corner and boo-hoo cried. I'm talking about ugly cry. I'm talking about my whole soul came out of my body cried. I'm talking about I could not, but I felt so betrayed by God. I'm like, God, I've already gone through enough, right? I'm like, I done already been through all this stuff, but I got to do this too? I already spent, 3 years on the front end trying to make things happen in this marriage, but I got to do this too? Not fair, not fair, not fair, right? I'm mad, angry, but I listened to God. If I had listened to my friends, I called my friends and told them after the fact, right? Everybody, every single one of them was like, hell no. I would have made that nigga walk. I would have, fuck that, Brent. You better than me. I would have, right? All the different things. And I was so impressionable. And I'm glad that I just chose to listen to God in that moment. I chose to go within. And sometimes that's what we got to do when we're going through trauma, when we're going through pain, when we're in hurtful places, is that we got to tap out of our friends and our homegirls and our whoever's giving advice like they usually do and tap in with God and really listen to what that advice is and what you're supposed to do. That I don't know who this is for, but I know this is for somebody. Sometimes we got to tap out of talking to homegirls, talking to your friends, your family, because your families will be fucked up about you, right? They love you. You got their hearts. So yeah, your family gonna be hurt about somebody doing you wrong. So of course they're coming from a place of hurt, but only God can show you that, where you're supposed to come from and how you're supposed to operate when you're hurt. He's the only one. Because he's not biased. He loves us all. He loves us all in our own ways. He loves us all. So he's not biased like your family is, like your friends are, And so I just want to share that with somebody. I don't know, somebody who's going through a breakup or a divorce or maybe even a friendship, a break in your friendship, and you feeling some type of way because that person was petty towards you. That person was traumatizing you. That person did you wrong and threw you under the bus and didn't even care. We're not retaliating, y'all. Vengeance is mine, says the Lord. That's right. There's nothing that I could have ever done that would have been better than the retaliation of God. What? Ain't nothing that my little self can do. First off, if you lost me, baby, you already took an L. I just want you to know. You already took the biggest L of your life if you lost me. And that's facts. Big facts. That's on God. For real. But yeah, let me get back into it, you guys. That's number 2. Number 1, get real and raw with yourself. Don't even talk about what just that person did. Talk about your faults in the matter, what you did, what you allowed to happen, all that. You got to address it all. You got to be real. You got to be raw. You got to be upfront about what you did and what you didn't do. Okay. Second one, solitude era. Talk to God. I'm telling you, ask your best friend when you're going through it. He's going to be the one that's going to give you what you need, tell you what to do, remind you of who you are when it comes down to him, who you are in the kingdom. He reminds you of who you are in the kingdom when you are hurt, when you are feeling like you want to retaliate, when you feel like I want to get my lick back. God is say, hell no, I ain't doing that. He's like, nah, my child, but you are who you are. Don't react the way that person did because your heart's different. I made you different. What? Your heart is stuck on me. That's different. Don't you dare treat them people like they treated you. Because that's not true to who you are. That's not authentic to who Brittany is. Your heart is pure. And God had to get me because I felt I was 2 seconds away from saying, figure it out. Right? 2 seconds away. But get into your solitude era in those moments, you guys. The third one is reinvention. You're reinventing yourself. That's what I had to reinvent myself, you guys. And I've always been big on that since the very beginning of times. But it seems like for me, whenever I went through a breakup, oh, I lost 40, 50 pounds. Whenever I went through a breakup, oh, I changed my hair, girl. I done cut my hair, put some blonde in it. I got streaks now. Wait, revenge body what? Right? Reinvention. And it really stems down to the fact that you cannot move forward being the same person that you were when you got in that pain, when you got in that traumatic relationship, when you got in that domestic violence relationship. You can't move forward the same way, looking the same, feeling the same, because guess what's going to happen? You're going to get the same results. No. Reinvention. We're reinventing ourselves. So it looks like, when I was in that relationship with so-and-so, I didn't put up some boundaries. Well, guess what? I'm reinventing myself. Now I got boundaries put in place. So when I meet the next person, he ain't going to be able to do this, this, and this to me. Oh, no. I'm reinventing myself. It's so important to reinvent yourself after going through trauma, after going through breakups and divorces and what have you. Reinvent yourself. I have reinvented myself a bunch of different times. Y'all know I love a good hair color, right? We stuck on purple right now, but baby, I went blonde. I locked my hair up after my divorce, right? Locked it up. Brand new hairdo, brand new style, brand new everything. Because I wasn't that same Brittany who got hurt in this process, who got duped in my marriage, who got played. I wasn't the same girl, so I couldn't show up the same way. I had to change some things. I had to change my appearance. I had to change some things in my mind. I had to change some things that I wore. I talk about this with my friends. The fact that when I came out of my divorce, I was like, I'm not feeling sexy. Oh no, I'm sexy. Like, I know I look good. And I started looking in my closet, you guys, and I had all these big body dresses that didn't clean. I have a beautiful shape, right? Beautiful. I've always had curves. I've always been curvaceous, voluptuous. I've always been thickety thick. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've always had a beautiful body. But when I was married, and when I was married and I lost 92 pounds when I was married, you guys, but I was insecure because he was insecure about me losing weight. And so it caused me to be insecure and not to appreciate the body. Fine. Yes, ma'am. We know it. You too. Yes. But it caused me to be insecure. And so I hid my body. I hid my sexiness and my feminine energy from the world because he wasn't okay with it. It was very evident that when I lost this weight and I started being beautiful and I started really investing in me and showing up the way that I wanted to show up and being beautiful and girly and wigs and makeup and fix my teeth and I did all these different things, and it was very evident that he was insecure. People would be like, oh my God, you look so gorgeous. Like his friends and family, and they would give me all these props and stuff, and I'd be like, thank you. And it was almost like he didn't have much to say about it at all. It was very interesting. But I mean, those are signs that you see, that you pay attention to. If somebody can't be happy about you and how you're progressing in your life, then that's a big red flag. There's a problem there for whatever reason, right? So reinvention, very important, you guys. That's my third step. And then my fourth step, final fourth step. This is the trust stage. This is the hardest step. Because now that I've done the work, I got real and raw, God. I talked about the things that I didn't do or that I did do and why this relationship felt like this or yes, red flags. Yep, that's right, V, you know. He can't be proud of you making this progress towards good health, feeling better about yourself, your self-esteem boosting, right? That's something that women, pay attention to that. If you are boosting your self-esteem and the man who you are with is not proud of who you are becoming, it's a big flag. There's some insecurities there. There's some trust issues there. There might be some mental illness there. There's something there. Because people who love you, truly love you deep down in your soul, all they want is the best for you. All they want is best for you. So if there's some issues there, you're feeling some tension, and that's what I felt a lot in my marriage, especially those last few years. It's like I felt so much tension because I had found my purpose and I started, coaching, and I started feeling really good about me and I started zoning in on me because my marriage was depressing me. So I literally took my whole mindset away from my marriage. I tapped out of my marriage before I was even done. I can be honest about that. That's what I say, real and raw. I can be real and raw and honest about how I tapped out of my marriage emotionally before it was done. Tapped out. I was so tired and frustrated and trying to do all the work by myself and you not doing no work. So I tapped out. I couldn't do it anymore, y'all. It was driving me nuts. I was going crazy. So what did I do? I started pouring into me. I took all that energy that I was using to try to keep my marriage together, because you weren't trying to keep our marriage together. You was just acting like, faking the funk, acting like you was trying to keep something together, but not really doing the work. But here I am going hard, busting my ass, therapy sessions, journaling, trying to figure it out, asking you questions that you ain't giving me the answers to. Hello, somebody. Hello, somebody, right? I had to take that energy back. I pulled back my power and I put it into me. And that's when I started showing up the way that I wanted to show up. Okay? The trust stage is the hardest. You're trusting that God is going to do the things that he promised you. You're trusting that because you're doing the work on you, you're personally putting that work into you. You're investing in yourself, whatever that looks like. Maybe you're going to therapy and you're paying for therapy sessions. Maybe you got a life coach named Brittany Wilder. Maybe you decided to get with your friends and you decided to do a vision board party to get your visions together and move forward with the promises that God promised you. I don't know what that looks like for you. I know what it looked like for me. But when you make that decision to move forward and you're being intentional about what you want out of your life, when you said, God, I want better for me and I choose to move forward and get better. You showed me these visions, God, of me speaking to thousands of people on a stage. Where's that? Listen, my relationship with God is A1. We talk to each other the way I talk to him, he's my home boy. God, where them promises at? Because we talked about this. Because you gave me the vision. What's up? Where is that? Put it in my hand. I'm ready to receive. And if I'm not ready to receive, well then God, show me what I need to work on inside my heart to be able to be in the space to receive. God, show me what I need to work on in my mind to be able to be in the space to receive the blessings and the vision that you have for me. God, help me to do the healing work inside my heart, God, to be able to be in a space that you can trust me. You can trust me with my purpose. You can trust me with the $1 million. You can trust me with the Lamborghini. You can trust me with the man. Hello, somebody. You can trust me with my soulmate, God, because I did the work. You sat here and watched me. You walked through it with me. You held my hand every step of the way. And if I'm not quite there where you want me to be, God, show me. Show me. Show me so that I can do more work and I can get there. So that I can start to receive the promises. I don't know about you guys, but I'm in this space where I don't want nothing that God hasn't put his hand on, his stamp of approval on. I don't want nothing that God hasn't been like, my child, make a move forward. This is the one. I don't want, I'm talking about jobs, men, cars, even friendships. Even if God doesn't have his stamp of approval on it, I want no parts of it because I trust him with everything that's within me. I trust him. I trust, even in times of being hurt and being in sorrow and trying to deal with everything with my marriage and being depressed. But God, I trust you. And I know this isn't my life. I know this is just a little small portion of my life. Just a small portion. I talk to people a lot, especially clients, especially when they're coming out of a breakup. I talk about, it's a 10% rule. 10% rule. I talk about it based off of my relationship, right? If you think about how long we live, maybe it's 80, 90 years, right? And you gave somebody 10 of those years. You gave somebody 10 of those years, or you gave somebody 8 of those years. That was mine, right? We lived to about 80. I gave somebody 8 of those years. I gave them 10% of my life. I have so much more life to live. I got so much more life to live. That was just 10% of my life. This is the 10% rule. So why am I going to stress out about the 10% rule? Why am I going to get crazy about the fact that it's only 10% of my life and I have so much more blessings, so much more love, so much more friendships, so much more opportunities, so much more ways to finish out my purpose? What? So an average person lives up to about 80, 90. So I got 70 years to really make some stuff happen. Okay, I'll take it. Thank you. We got to start getting to a place where we can reframe our minds and think about it as, oh man, I'm so sad that I don't have this relationship anymore. And we're not getting down and depressed about that, but we're looking forward to the fact that we have so many more years to attract the best love of your life. What? If I had to lose that love that I thought was love, because baby, that wasn't love. I just thought it was love. It felt real to me. It felt real to me. To lose that love for the best love? for 70 years of the best love, then baby, I'm ready for the 70 years of the best love. 10% rule. I hope that helps somebody in your process. If you're going through a divorce, a breakup, a friendship, whatever. Even in friendships, when you think about it. You know, I have a old friend that I was really, really close to, and we spent about a decade together too. It's the same thing. I lost that friendship, but guess what? There's decades more of me building other relationships, making other good God-ordained relationships. Real good God-ordained relationships. Not just some little petty friendship, not just some little fake bullshit, right? Because we know we have those friends, those little, the petty Patricias. Yeah, we got some of those friends, right? But if I gotta lose that friend in order to get to the real friends, the ones that'll hold it down for me, the ones that got my back no matter what, the ones that, baby, I can be on my last dollar, and I call them, they're like, here, I just sent you $100 to your Zelle. I love you. You my friend, you my sister. If I gotta lose that petty one to get that, then baby, bye. See you later. Listen, y'all, I'm about to get up off of here, but thank you for coming on. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Remember those different steps, 4 steps to healing after breakups, relationships, marriages, friendships, even losing your job. Being real and raw and honest is number 1. Then you're going to get into your solitude era. You're going to listen. It's going to be you and God. God deals with us best in solitude. He deals with us best in solitude. He can heal us best in solitude. Thank you. Oh, you're welcome, honey. Listen, reinvention. We are not showing up the same way because that's what got us caught up in the first place. Showing up with a low self-esteem. Showing up not feeling ourselves and not being confident in who we are. Showing up accepting less than when we know we deserve so much more. We're not showing up like that. No, we got to reinvent that. If that means we got to work on our hearts, if that means we got to work on our confidence, if that means we got to work on being more in our feminine energy, if that means we got to work on whatever it is we got to work on, we're doing that to reinvent ourselves. If that means we got to show up with a new haircut, new hair color, new outfit. I told y'all I was wearing all these big flowy dresses. Oh, baby, that stopped. Almost all my clothes hug on me and hug on my beautiful shape because I love my body. I embrace who I am. I love who I am, and I love my body. And I like to see me in a dress that clings on me in them curves. I like to see, not for them. I like to see it. I'm the one looking in the mirror like, oh, you better come on, curves. Right? Yes, I like to see it. They like to see it too. But I do it for me. Okay? And then also, trust stage. Trusting that if we have done all of our work, we've done all the things that God has, showed us to, he guided us to, that he's got us. That he's got us no matter what. And that's the hardest part because it's hard with trust sometimes, y'all. It's hard because you're like, but God, why did I have to go through that to get to this? But why did I have to go? And you don't find out until later on. You don't find out until later on. I found out later on why I had to go through my divorce. Because I had to choose me. I was choosing everybody, baby. Husband, the baby, the job, the family, the cousins, the sisters. Choosing everybody but me. I didn't focus in on me. And God said, listen, I got to strip you of this thing so you can see how beautiful you are, how important you are, how much you need to just pour into you for a little while. You done poured into everybody for umpteen years, and baby, you didn't have anything left for you, but it's time to pour into Brittany. I get it now. Hate that it had to go out that way, but that's sometimes some of our biggest trauma, some of our biggest pains opens us up to our biggest purpose, opens us up to our biggest dream life, opens us up to our boldness. It's what my book is about, you guys. Bolder, Wetter, Wilder, Better. It's about being your best self, being your better self, being wild enough to really step into your BS, to step into the stuff that you did, to acknowledge, to be honest and real and raw. Hello, somebody, about your part in the situation, because we always have our parts. And it's about getting down to it so that we can live our best life moving forward. Okay? If you haven't gotten my book, go ahead and get it. Bolder, Better, Wilder. It's amazing. Also, if you have not signed up for my boot camp, I have shut the doors down, you guys. I think I have 18 women. I originally just wanted 15. I actually really wanted 12 because I really like a real close, intimate class. But we got 18 women that are in this class, and I'm excited. It starts August 13th. If you know you are in a space where you're ready to do your healing work, book my link, you guys. Don't wait. Don't wait. If any of this has resonated with you, you did not come across my video by coincidence. I don't believe in coincidences at all. I believe that God guides us and shows us to who we need in our lives, somebody that advocates for us, somebody that will hold it down for us. And that's the type of coach that I am. I'm not going to put you through something that I haven't done myself. I've done the work. I know what it looks like to live your life, a good life, a beautiful life. I know what it means to follow your bliss. I know what it means to walk into your purpose and to be in a space where you've had traumas in the past and, you know, everything moving forward, it's not quite what you thought it was, but you're going to move forward anyways because you trust in God. That trust stage, I told you guys, is a very important part of this healing process. It's a very important part. I'm in that stage right now, trusting God, trusting that I'm just listening and trusting and moving forward with what he's telling me every step of the way. And it's a beautiful space.